Have you been thinking about selling your house, but you're really confused about commission structures and how your listing agent is compensated now? If so, this video is for you. I'm Kat Berry with Modern Living at Compass. I am an international real estate broker and consultant based in Chicago. I've been a listing agent for more than 20 years, and I am going to discuss with you today what seller agency compensation and how real estate agent compensation in general works now. You may have heard that there have been some big changes in the real estate industry and how real estate agents are paid in the United States. This particular video discusses from the perspective of an agent who does most of their business in Chicago. I'm licensed in Illinois, so please keep that in mind. Most of these rules are national, but specific to my market is the downtown Chicago region. So as a seller, you might be asking yourself, who pays real estate agent compensation? Can I still negotiate real estate agent compensation? And how does this affect my ability to market my property? These are great questions, and I'm going to answer all of them in this discussion today. The biggest thing to keep in mind, your number one question, who pays real estate agent compensation? The number one change in the compensation rules in the last year are that the seller's agent and the buyer's agent compensation are completely separated now. When you sign a listing agreement with your real estate broker, you are only signing and agreeing to pay your listing agent and your listing agent's brokerage. You are not upfront agreeing to pay a buyer's agent. That is the number one difference, is what you're agreeing to in the listing agreement. So as a seller, this really gives you the opportunity to negotiate with your listing agent, the person who is working for you. And yes, you can absolutely still negotiate real estate compensations. So the buyer, now they have their separate agreement with their buyer's agent, and they are negotiating their rate with their buyer's agent. What we are seeing in Illinois and in Chicago market in particular is that now is outlined on your contract packet. So when a buyer makes an offer to you to purchase your property, the compensation for their agent is a term just like the price, just like the closing date, just like their financing. They present to you one whole offer packet. This gives you the opportunity to negotiate with the buyer on the entire picture, not just the sales price and the date. You're putting together a whole package and you're negotiating with them a set price. This really benefits sellers in terms of creating more flexibility for you. The one thing that it does make a little bit more complicated for sellers is how to estimate your costs. So I would absolutely talk with your local real estate expert about what they are seeing in the marketplace and what you can estimate for a buyer broker compensation. So in all practical purposes, sellers are still paying buyer's agents compensation in the Chicago market in the form of an offer packet. So can you still negotiate? Absolutely yes. In fact, in my opinion, this gives sellers even more negotiating power. So on to the next question. How does this affect how you market your property? Well, because there is no upfront agreement of what you're going to be paying the buyer's agent, that information is no longer posted in the multiple listing service. Previously, every agent would know what you were paying before they showed your house. Now that is not published anywhere, and there is no obligation. So compensation is not something that we are able to market, but it is not affecting really how your house is marketed in terms of the reach of your property, because we are still able to, at Compass in Illinois, we are still able to promote your listings on a private network and a coming soon network. Please reach out to me for more details on how that works, but compensation is no longer published in the MLS. As a seller in general, I think this policy benefits you in your ability to negotiate and get creative with your marketing. However, there are some things you need to be aware of. As I mentioned earlier, estimating your total net profits does become a little bit more iffy. The other thing are that we are seeing more buyers with no agent or asking for dual agency, which is, again, in Illinois, this does vary by state, when the same agent or team represents both the buyer and seller. Because you have to have a buyer agency agreement, Now, to even see a property, more buyers are coming directly to listing agents and directly to open houses. This is something, again, you need to discuss with your agent and find out if that type of agency or transaction works for you. I've had a couple that worked really well. It just depends on the scenario and how savvy that buyer is and how comfortable the seller is with the specific scenario. Again, we are negotiating now an entire package, so it's really important to look at the whole picture. Now that you know all of this, you might be asking, how are agents dealing with all this and how does this affect real estate agents? Well, top producing creative agents are making the most of it. We are out there working with our sellers, explaining to them how it works and how it can benefit them. But we are seeing some changes in fee structures. Some agents are asking for higher compensation. They are charging potentially a retainer fee. And this is both for buyer's agents and seller's agents. We are also seeing cancellation fees being more enforced. And this is all in an effort for us as real estate professionals to elevate our profession and to be compensated fairly for our time and our financial investment in marketing your property. Again, be sure to discuss these things with your agent. It's very important to have transparency when you're discussing compensation and who gets paid and what you can expect to pay in a real estate transaction. The number one purpose of this entire change was for more transparency in compensations, so do not be afraid to discuss this with your agent. Thanks so much for following along this video. If you need a real estate professional anywhere in the world, I can help you find one. I have a massive network of top professionals. If you want to hear more about this topic or any others, please comment below and don't forget to like and follow. Thanks so much.